Today I'd like to have a discussion with you all because as I taught before, to gain Sammādiṭṭhi, right understanding, right view, there are few reasons and causes and bases as well. The first one is the association of good friends, Kalyana association. The second one is the right Dhamma to listen to. So, listening to Dhamma talks and also to have Dhamma discussions. That means if you have doubt, you can raise questions. You can ask questions. And when we clarify the points to find an answer from the Dhamma, then it becomes vast and it becomes quite huge Dhamma area. So it will help us to develop our right understanding. If we have any doubt, it will subside. That's one benefit for every one of us. Even according to the Mangala Sutta, there are two factors. Dhamma Sākacchā, Dhamma Savana. These two factors are of the list of 37 auspicious factors. Listening to Dhamma and discuss Dhamma. And also the Buddha recommended 10 topics for followers to take up. Therefore, considering these all factors, and also factors arising from other sutras as well, I hope to have a Dhamma discussion with you and questions from you. I believe that Hugo must have questions. Question means what we don't understand, it's a question. And some points are there. We have heard and learned, but it's not clear to us. So, it's a question. I have a question. My question is, we read books and we read and listen to deep and profound Dhamma talk. Sometimes it's okay, we can understand, sometimes not so. So, deep and profound Dhamma topics and some textual and scriptural and sometimes fully edited versions. All these are talking about our life, but they are quite formal. These trading and listening and teaching and discussions sometimes are very formal. But my suggestion and my question, my inquiry is, it would be really better for us to find ways how we could develop and build right understanding in ourselves in day-to-day life, day-to-day practices, in what we are having in daily life. So if you can just apply my right understanding to daily work, apply my right understanding to what you heard, apply my right understanding to your life, practice how I apply my right understanding to my daily work in cooking and making a cup of tea. That's very practical. Sometimes textual and scriptural teaching and phrases may be forgetful, but what you have applied to your life not be forgetful. It is very, very life. So I like that part. Hugo, what do you think of that? What I mentioned?
Yes, I think that's very promising. And I think, is it possible to practice Sammādiṭṭhi mindfulness in one's daily activities? Do you find that is part of the monastic life?
That's part of the monastic life, is absolutely.
Yes.
And monastic life as well as the lay followers also can do so. It is not really restricted for monastic lives, but all the lay followers can apply the practice into their daily works. The lay people's life is quite busy with worldly matters, but occasionally you can find time to practice in your life. So I can just share something I have experienced in my early life of monkhood. I was trained under well-learned monastic teachers in my early life of monkhood. We get ordained in one place, in one monastery under a particular teacher, but we monks are not from one village, one single suburb, and one district. We all monks are from different districts, different villages, different towns and cities, and different parents. And our behavioral patterns also not the same, even though we are born in one country, different behavioral patterns and wordings and the way of walking, way of talking, way of using terms and words are different. In that monastery, I was training. There were quite erudite and well-learned monks as well as monks not so much smart. But anyway, some monks were quite dedicated to follow the Vinaya rules, the monastic codes, monastic life. Sometimes their virtues are all right, their moral life is very pure, very clear words, and behavior is perfect. But sometimes we find that some flaws just come up here and there in their life. It is not in a bad way. Some negative energy just comes up. So one of the monks of the place was much critical of other monks. It's not a bad way. He was critical of others' behavior, the way of other monks taking meal, the way of sitting, and the way of handling their bowls and robes, and that part. You see, when you are going to criticize someone else, another person, another monk, what happened to your mind? If you are so kind, if you are compassionate, and mindfulness is there, then it is all right, because it's based on that mental ground of compassion. You can go to a monk or a lay follower and find the opportunity to advise and guide them in the righteous way, because the kindness is the ground, that is the spiritual earth for you to stand on. But this monk, this particular monk I refer, was very much critical because he is very much concerned about the code of Vinaya, the Vinaya rules for monks. And also this is something helpful for people to understand how the Buddha's code of Vinaya, the rules for monks and nuns. Some rules are there very strong, very heavy. You cannot violate at all. If you are going to violate it and breach it, then you just lose your monkhood completely. You cannot go ahead in monk's life any longer. But some rules are there. It's a Vinaya rule and it's a practical, but it's not so heavy. And these Vinaya rules are for monks. The monks are bound to follow them. For example, the Buddha recommended in the Vinaya Code the right way to hold the bowl, the right way to sit on a chair, and the right way to hold your bowl. These are all some minor rules and regulations that are to be practiced and followed by venerable monks. So, this particular monk that I referred to you, he was concerned about that minor rules. He wants every monk to behave in a certain way, in a certain manner, that he is going to be pleased. So, he was critical. This is how the monastic life is. Even though you find a fault of other monks, wrong behavior of another monk, you are not allowed to just go directly to him and advise. So you can't do it. It is not your dharmic right. But you can go to the teacher and make a complaint. So you have to understand this to develop right understanding, right view. So almost every day, some complaints were there. In the evening, after the evening chanting, the teacher gets all the complaints and issue some some rules and regulations, specific regulations for those monks. So one day, that particular monk is a senior monk. He was so concerned about the minute rules and regulations put by the Buddha for monks. So he found some faults of others and complained in the evening. And went to the teacher and said, "Venerable sir, that so and so, that monk was behaving this way, he was talking, he was doing this and that." So the teacher patiently listened to him. Very patiently, with a smile on his face, he listened to him. Then later he asked all monks to come and sit around, so like we did in the monastery. So the venerable monk, the teacher, asked Venerable Ayasma, friends, "Venerable sir, now you made a complaint about the other monk's behavior. It's not a big fault, but according to the code of Vinaya, it is something faulty, something wrong. That is acceptable. But you see, when you are going to complain, when you are going to criticize others, when you find faults of others, then negative energy rises in yourself. Mm-hmm. Because you are going to correct others. When you are going to correct others, finding their faults, at the same time you become incorrect. Because the negative energy rises. Negative energy dominates you. And that is how hatred and ill will rises in the form of spirituality. Sometimes in a righteous way, unrighteous things, unrightful thoughts come in rightful way. In order to understand these points, you should have very good right understanding. So then, the teacher, pointing out these specific reasons, said, "Yes, Venerable sir, you are right. You complained about another monk, but he can purify his behavior. He can undergo some punishments, if any, recommended. Yes, he can purify his moral life. But when you are going to criticize and complain about others, what will happen? Can you purify your mind to just subside already arisen energy? You can't do that. Because when you have negative energy, unwholesome energy, it will register in your mind. You cannot delete it. But you see, the misbehaved monk can make himself right after some times, in minute cases. But when you get your mind polluted and impurified with unwholesome energy, there you don't find any way to make it correct. That's why mindfulness and right understanding is so important. When you are going to advise others, you have to first look at your own mind. Watch your own mind, how it plays for that job. So this is how we should learn to apply the right way and mindfulness in our day-to-day life, in monastic way of life or the lay life. Did you get something from this?
Yes, so Bhante, if I've understood it correctly, so the Sammādiṭṭhi and Sammāsati, they must go together. They cannot be separated.
Yes, Sammādiṭṭhi, Sammāsati. Excuse me.
Yeah. So you must have this insight into your own motivations.
Yes.
Before you do anything. And so I just wonder how they come together. And they come together possibly in the fourth Satipatthana when you look at the Four Noble Truths, because they take you back to Sammādiṭṭhi. Mm-hmm. And when you understand your motivations and you know why you are criticizing others, Because are you criticizing others because you want to help them, or because you just feel that's a good way of releasing letting off steam, because you're sort of feeling negative about these people. So no, that's very, 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 and I suppose you can sort of apply that to all actions.
Yes.
Is the motivation pure? Is it?
That's right. Yes, this is something I experienced in my monk's life, because I have seen it. Because it happened to one of my brother monks. So, what you mentioned is very important. That is also practical. We can just learn something from you. You see, Sammādiṭṭhi, or right concentration, right mindfulness, is there because if you are going to practice the foundation of mindfulness, which is Kāyanupassana, the mindfulness of the body. Second is Vedananupassana, the mindfulness of the feeling, and mindfulness of mind and thoughts, and Dhammanupassana. For all these four, you should have a right understanding to a certain degree. It does not mean that you should have the right understanding and right view to the highest level, from where you are going to realize the Four Noble Truths in depth and realize the noble truth, Lokottara Dhamma, Supramandin Dhamma, the Nibbana. But basically, you should have that right understanding to a certain degree. And right understanding parallel to right concentration, and for both these Dhammas, mindfulness plays a great role. It is important role in a highest level. So when you are mindful, then right understanding is related to it. When you are mindful and right understanding is there and connected to it, right concentration is there. So these three Dhamma factors go in hand. So you see, it's like this. Just consider and give some thought to this in this way. Like you're going to certain monk or a teacher, and you will happen to listen to a Dhamma talk, just in brief. For example, that the teacher is talking about mindful practice. How do you do that? Mindfulness in the body, mindfulness practice in the feeling and the thoughts, minds and Dhamma. That means then, after listening to the Dhamma talk about that four foundations of mindfulness, then you will have an interest to practice it in your life. You see, that interest, that motivation, that spiritual motivation comes to you because of listening to Dhamma. Then you decide, yes, this sounds good. I should practice it. So I should practice, I want to practice, I want to develop, and I want to build up my mind with insight knowledge. So that basic understanding is also regarded as right view. So without having that much of right understanding, right view, you cannot sit in meditation. And also you can't walk in meditation. You cannot close your eyes in meditation. You see, basically that's how that right understanding, right view stems from listening to Dhamma, being with righteous people, being with good-hearted people. So when you are in sitting meditation, then you are mindful of your body, feeling and thought. Then that right understanding, right view starts to grow gradually, little by little. Every step will help you to just develop it. When you are going to do things in righteous way, every step, every function, every thought moment, it will greatly help to develop right understanding, right view. And after a couple of weeks time, after a couple of months time, you can see for yourself that the right understanding, your way of looking at things in the world has changed. When you compare your current life, your current way of looking at things in the world, with the previous, the behavioral pattern of your life, then you can see huge difference in yourself. So this is how the right understanding starts. This is how, with right understanding, you just start your spiritual life. And this is how, with right understanding, you are going in righteous ways to develop that right understanding, right view. So this is how it happens. Did you get something from these words?
Yes. I think that's very true. Just sort of seeing how it's integrated,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a very good idea. Very good suggestion to think of yourself now and remember how you were in the past.
Yeah.
And how much you've benefited or changed from what you've understood.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the whole benefit of understanding what the Four Noble Truths really teach. What they are saying.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And as you say, having good friendships, spiritual friendships. Without them, it's not possible.
Certainly. Yeah. Certainly. Yeah. And the other thing is, I can suggest for you that you see, there's so many spiritual friends are there, that's true. And Kalyana Mitras are there, that's true. And friends are there. Kalyana Mitras are there, friends are there. And how can you find someone to just be close to you? That's also a tricky one, because a lot of Kalyana Mitras are there. But how can you find someone to be closer to you, to get closer to them? It's like this. Kalyana Mitras are Kalyana Mitras, that's right. At a time when you get into miserable situations in your life, like some stressful situations are there, because life is sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. Sometimes it rains, sometimes summer and very hot. That's the weather. That's how our lives are just going. At a time when you are stressful and undergoing some negative feelings and thoughts in your life, when you are in that condition, if someone comes to you and helps you to just get rid of that negative energy and cleanse your heart, and change your miserable mentality into peaceful mind, is really a Kalyana Mitra. Helping you to understand the situations, then calm down your mind, and also just plant some understanding in your mind. That's the Kalyana Mitra. Why? Because negative energy, negative thoughts make us, it will crush us down and bother us, make us very stressful. And you see, sometimes this heart region is very uncomfortable. You cannot find words in any language to describe this, what is going on there. So if someone comes to you and helps you to understand that mentality, and also helps you to get rid of that negative mental atmosphere and condition, and replace positive energy in yourself, that is Kalyana Mitra. Sometimes you are undergoing something bad and very hot, very miserable, very hot, negative, ill will thought is there. Someone will come and just upload something more negative. Then your miserable mentality, feeling becomes double. It increases. So that is not the Kalyana Mitra, because he or she may think that you are happy with that, but it's not the way. Because every time we should help others to calm down. You see, when you get to the river, when it is windy, then you can't see your face there. You can't see the reflection of the trees and buildings and everything around. You cannot see your own face in the water. Why? Because ripples are there. So when the water is calmed down and no ripples, it's not shaky, no winds, then you can see your face beautiful, in the water like in the mirror. And also the same way, you can see the other existing buildings and trees and things, because the water settled down. Similarly, when we are upset and also some mental negative thought ripples may just go on and on and on. In such mental conditions, we can't see the right and wrong. Now, emails and messages and text are the kind of communication system today. In the morning, you get a text message about something. Maybe you are being criticized, maybe someone else, some cases. Then when you read the text, you get quite upset. Then negative thoughts start to come up and disturb you because of that text message. And again, after the text message, you are going to open the email. Then that email says something similar to the text. It is not the same person, but someone else. And also, you see, two negative cases have come to you. After a couple of minutes, someone will phone you. And also, that person from the other side upload something to your mind in the similar way. You see then how you just get your mind settled down. Oh, on such an occasion, if someone is there to help you to calm down, and that's a Kalyana Mitra. Sometimes it happens, but sometimes you see in our daily life, some others come and put so many things into our heart. So then you can't handle such sometimes things because you get completely upset. And also sometimes from the morning to the end of the day, something negative is going on in your mind, but you can't describe it. No one is there in the vicinity to point your finger at, but something is going in there. So if someone is there to help you to just calm your mind, that's a Kalyana Mitra. If someone is there to burn your mind, that is not Kalyana Mitra. So if you can understand the right friend and Kalyana Mitra, and also harmful person and right friend, that is also because of right understanding, right view. You see, we have that opportunity to apply this right understanding in our day-to-day life, day-to-day cases. Did you get something from this?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
That's very true.
And Pam is there. And
my apologies.
Hello, Pam.
Hello, Hugo. Hello, Alison. We had a friend here who's got a very ill husband, and she just recently left, and I didn't realise what the time was, so my apologies.
It's all right. It's all right. Yes, because we are having a Dhamma discussions on the topic of right view and right understanding. Just try to put this right understanding into our day-to-day activities. And we try to see it is applicable. Yes, it is really applicable. Right understanding. And you see, sometimes the other thing is we have habitual thought patterns. Habitually, that criticism may come in us. Habitually, that you see, finding faults of others may come up in our mind. Habitually, some negative thoughts may arise. And if you can just apply your right understanding, right view, and that watching mind to those negative thoughts and habitual thoughts, then you can see this is a bad thought. This is a negative thought. This is a very harmful, unwholesome thought. So I should strive to just get rid of this thought. If you have that much of ability, that is also because of right understanding. So right understanding can be applied to each and every actions in our life, in our daily life. Each and every word that we utter, that we speak, to make it right. And mindfulness also is working immensely there. Yes, Pam. If you have a question, please feel free to raise it or put in this discussion platform.
Bhante, it was just the issue of upekshanam, because sometimes I find there's a sort of a polarity. There's negative and there's positive. There's also just that state of just sort of quietness where it is positive in and of itself, but as much as it's an opposite to another state which we could call negative, there's just that equilibrium, I guess.
Equilibrium, okay. I couldn't hear all the descriptions and also your point because words were not clear to us.
I've got an unstable internet connection here, but I was asking really, is there a third sort of way of, say, that there's negativity in the mind, and then, you know, there's very positive thoughts or energies, but is there another state that's, I'm using the term upekshanam, but it's just like it's more than neutral, but it's just sort of quiet equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I think many people try very hard to create positive thoughts. So they will, for example, do lots of affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
It's very popular in the West. You know, I affirm something. I really try to make it positive. But then, is there not simply a state of equilibrium where the mind is just resting, and it's not sort of moving between those pairs, you know, now I'm positive, now I'm negative.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
I think the Pali term for it is upeka. Upeka.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Is the Sanskrit.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Equanimity.
That Hugo. Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
upeka, equanimity.
Yes.
Can say that balanced mind, balanced way of looking at things. This is something what I have experienced and seen in some people and some friends of mine in the West, in Sri Lanka, in Asia, it doesn't matter, whatever country, I have seen that. It is natural that you are not completely free from having negative thoughts. From time to time, negative thoughts will come, negative feelings, negative words will come. So every one of us is not free from that. First, we should understand it. So sometimes in some people's life, they have so much of positive thoughts and positive environments there. Some people, on the contrary, they have negative thoughts, negative environment. And except those who are practicing spirituality in the forest or somewhere hidden, the worldly people are just swaying to this negative side, the other side is positive thoughts. The problem arises only when you have negative, unwholesome thoughts. When you have positive and peaceful, pleasant mind, no one will complain. So negative thought is the challenge. Some people have some negative thoughts, but they cannot manage it. And also sometimes they tend to take their life because it is unbearable. They can't go on with them, with those such thoughts in their life. Sometimes people change the environment. When you have negative thoughts, it is unbearable. You cannot manage it. You cannot handle in your area, in your habitual area, in your customs area, and in your house, in your suburb. Then you just travel to other country, travel to other suburb, travel to other cities. So you change your life pattern for some time. When you change your environment, then automatically, because of that environmental influence, impact, you can get your mind changed and settled. And again, after you getting back to your habitual custom, the area, it is quite positive. But previously, you underwent much of miserable negative thoughts. What happened here was because you changed the environment and it will help. But the problem is this. You did not change your mind, but you changed the environment. Yes. What will happen to you later is, again, that unchanged thought pattern may come up to hurt you. If you just learn how to watch the negative thought and make them subside and disappear, then even though you change your environment or not, you are the winner. Because you learned, you subsided, and you managed your mental thought because you watched it. You watched and you realized that this is the reason, this is the cause for this negative thought to come in my mind. And also this thought is not permanent. It rises and ceases and vanishes. So, and also, why I take these negative thoughts into my mind? Why I am going to hold these things? What is the purpose? Just, you see, sometimes this is what happens. Sometimes, because you are going to please other people. You try to keep your life so that others are happy. That is one problem. Others, I mean, not the suburbans. Your friends, your husband, your children, your relatives, your, you see, your kith and kins. So you try to make them happy from your life. You can't do it. Because it is their responsibility to be happy. But it is your responsibility to be happy for yourself.
Yes.
It is not because of selfishness. It's not being selfish. It is the righteous way. If you are able to just watch your inner mind and inner thoughts and negative thoughts, it will greatly help you. And also after sometimes you can just change your environment for some time. Then you are going to be rewarded in both ways. Watching your mind and changing your environment. It is also right view, right understanding. Did you get something from this piece?
Absolutely. Yes.
Very
Definitely.
happy. Yes, I thought because in the last few weeks we were reading and talking about the Sammādiṭṭhi Sutta in righteous way. That's true. It's textual. But these textual things we should learn how to put in our daily life. You see, you learn to cook. You learn to cut nicely the vegetables and foods. You know how to cook. You know how to add spice. Same way, you should learn how to eat it, how to taste it. So that's why today I thought it would be good for having Dhamma discussions in this way to apply all the Dhamma factors what we learned before in our life.
That's an excellent way to sum up the Sammādiṭṭhi topic. Yes.
Sammādiṭṭhi,
Yes, it is. It's truly. And it's also, I was just reflecting, you may be, it may also be a possible way to look at things in relation to not getting involved in what I might call a sticky situation that has got a lot of negativity swirling around. And the best thing to do is to notice it before you get too involved and say to yourself, is that really of benefit for me to go into that?
Absolutely. Yes,
It's not being selfish.
It is not being selfish. It is being mindful.
Yes, that's right. And so when you can see that, then you don't feel guilty or ashamed or a bit asking yourself whether you're just being unkind. It's more you're taking good care of your own being and your own mind, protecting your mind in a way.
Yes.
Protecting the chitta. Yep. And that is actually one of the things that we are even encouraged to do by the Buddha, I believe. So it has a lot of that positivity about it.
Yes, that's right.
Is that right?
Yes. Yes, that's right. Yes, positivity, yes. Or you say positive way of looking at your mind.
Yes.
That's right. Because first of all you have to protect yourself. And also protecting yourself means protecting your positive energy. Just by losing your positive energy, how can you help others? So therefore, first of all, you have to just protect and protect your positive energy, protect yourself. Then with that positive energy, you will be certainly able to give helping hand to someone else.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yes, that's true. That's good. It sounds very good. I agree with you because it is with the Dhamma. So, I'm very happy to have this time with you today. And also, little by little, we can go through the Sammādiṭṭhi Sutta and also try to taste it in our life. That is the most important thing. Otherwise, there are so many books, yes, but it doesn't matter. If we just taste a little bit Dhamma, it will greatly help us. And also, even though you cook a whole lot of food, you don't eat it.
Very good point, Bhante.
Yes, only piece of bread or something, little, you eat it. That much is enough. And also you can survive. Okay, thank you very much. I bless you.
Thank you.
All.
Thank you.
And
thank you very much, though.
yeah, with the whole.
Thank you.
Okay, and next time we can meet and also discuss the some Dhamma.
Yes.
May you be well, happy and peaceful. Okay.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.